Hello everybody and welcome back to the vlog. I am taking you along these 2 weekend shifts at the hospital. So it'll be a little weekend, what it looks like to work at the hospital, SLP stuff, all the good things, all the good things. It's Saturday morning. I'm trying to get to the hospital by 7:30, so I gotta run out of here real quick. But I just want to say hello. My name is Kelly if you're new here, and welcome. I do a lot of speech pathology, workout, lifestyle content. And let's head off to the hospital. Let's go get this day done. When you get to work and you log into your electronic medical record, EMR, that was a lot for me to say, and there's no patients for you to see. None. I have 0 patients assigned to me. There are 0 patients who need speech therapy today. I'm happy about this, but I'm also annoyed that I'm here, but I'm just gonna soak it in that I'm getting paid to not have to work. Well, not have to work with patients, you know. I wanted to talk a little bit about what educational clocking in is, because I showed you guys that I did it. So I first came here to work today. I clocked in, and then when I saw that I had no patients, like you saw, I went downstairs and I went to the time clock, and I hit that education button, and then I clocked in. My hospital has you do that so that when you are participating in education while you're in house and you're getting paid, that it's not impacting your productivity, which is important when you're thinking about my personal productivity and also the productivity of the whole therapy staff. So if I was sitting here for 3 to 4 hours, working on my education, waiting for patients to get consulted, and I was still under just the general hospital pay that I'm billing to see patients, then that's going to impact the productivity. Maybe not just me this one instance, but if everyone did that, then the productivity of the therapy staff would look significantly poorer compared to if you clocked into education and you said hey, I'm not billing, I'm not seeing patients, and I'm just working on other requirements for my job. We're not allowed to obviously see patients when we're in the productivity building, and we're not allowed to write notes. So anything related to patient contact and actual billing services as a speech pathologist, I am not under that productivity. But since I'm working on my med bridge, I'm working on continuing education, then obviously it's appropriate for me to spend some time in that educational billing code. I know that might be a little bit confusing. I think every hospital system might do it a little bit differently. My previous hospital system did it very differently than this, but I do like it. It does kind of eliminate the what were you doing? When were you doing this? It's I am clearly not seeing patients right now. I am not billing for patients. I am completely off the patient code, pay rate, pay code. I don't know. I get paid the same either way, but I think it just makes it very easy to have very black and white. I was billing when I saw patients when I was under this code, and then I clocked into education and I did these educations, and these are the educations I did, and this is why I did them. It's just nice and black and white instead of a wishy-washy situation. And I think my managers are very supportive of it. This hospital, like I said, the hospital system wants you to do the continuing education. The one I'm doing is literally required to do by the end of this year. So very happy for that and very thankful for that, and something to think about. If you're looking for a job in a hospital, just ask them how they operate when it comes to productivity for patients versus other requirements education, in-service education when you're at work. Welcome to the CPR room. Boo, boo, boo. So another thing my hospital system does is that the requirement for your basic life certification is a requirement for having a job, but they also require you to participate in quarterly, almost a reevaluation and test for your CPR certification. Luckily, they do it on site and it doesn't cost any money. So because I am just clocking those education hours and I have to do this by the end of the month, I figured it would be a perfect time to do my test for my certification. I think this is actually great because you get CPR certified, and then odds are you're not using that certification, hopefully. And it just keeps these skills nice and fresh in your brain, because as someone told me, what are the repetitions for a child versus an adult? If I'm not getting that refreshed every quarter, then I'm probably not going to remember it. So Let's go do some CPR. Back from work. Sorry that was like the most like non-SLP day. Hopefully I work tomorrow, so hopefully tomorrow there'll be better information that I can share with you guys. But I guess it gave you some insight of what I do when I don't have much to do at work, when I'm waiting for patients or you have downtime. I'm gonna go run some errands and get some like Saturday fun things done, do a little bit of shopping, a little grocery shopping, a little house shopping. I am gonna try to keep this vlog like speech pathology only, so I'm not gonna bring you guys along, but I will see you guys tomorrow morning, bright and early for a Sunday shift. See you then. Good morning, guys. I'm trying to find the best lighting in my car to record this, but happy Sunday. We're back at work. Yes. I'm actually feeling super good about this morning. My only concern is if the doctors decided to place all the SLP orders yesterday afternoon, and I'm slightly anxious that I'm going to walk into a ton of orders since I didn't have any yesterday morning. But if that's the case, then we'll just roll with it. Clearly, my hair is still damp. I went to the gym this morning before I came here and I did a little bit of a workout, so I feel fantastic. I've also been trying super hard. I've been putting this into my routine. Andrew Huberman with his Huberman Lab podcast said this a while ago in one of his episodes, that not taking caffeine for the first hour of your day will significantly reduce your cortisol levels. Now, I don't know exactly what that means, but I do know that it helps with preventing that midday crash. So I've been trying to implement this like every single day, and I've been pretty great about it. So whenever I wake up, I won't take caffeine, won't drink coffee, won't take pre-workout for at least that first hour. So typically if I'm working out in the morning, then I just use that to like try to force myself to wake up. And I will say it's a little bit hard to get going, but I'm getting more adjusted and more used to it, and I feel fantastic, especially in the middle of the day. I have not been experiencing those crashes, like needing a second cup of coffee, versus sometimes I'm just like, this one might be nice, or I'm not gonna drink another cup of coffee. Like I'm just gonna have like a LaCroix to give me a little bit of a midday boost, something that's flavorful. So just something, I will post that podcast if I can find it down below, or at least a link to his podcast, and then you might have to search. But I think that's very interesting, and just wanted to share that advice for people, especially if you are a morning coffee drinker. Just try to start not drinking that for at least an hour until you are up and running. But let's get in, let's clock in, and let's find out if I have any patients to see today. Happy Sunday. I don't know if I didn't say that. Guys, awesome news. I have patients to see. I have 3 consults this morning. Definitely still not a full day of work, but you know what? 3 consults are better than none. And I actually feel like I can help people and do my job, so I am very happy about that. It hopefully will stay this slow, because I do want to like continue working, but like slow days aren't the worst thing ever. A slow day never hurt anybody, right? It just never did. So let's get these. First thing I do, a chart review. I'm gonna go look at the patients, look why they're admitted, look at their concerns, what diet they're on, their hospital course, any preliminary diagnosis that they have that could impact swallowing and communication. I'm gonna write all that down on a piece of paper, or however we chart review on Teams, and then after that I'm gonna go on the floor and go see them. So let's get this chart review done. As a side note, I feel like chart reviewing is part of like one of my favorite parts of this job. I feel like a detective. I just love digging through their chart and being like, wow, this is them. This is why they're here. These are all the risk factors that they have, and I just love it. I don't I don't know why I love it so much, but I find it so fun and fascinating to learn about medical courses and medical records, and really looking at the patient as a whole as to like all the risk factors of what may be causing some of their symptoms. That was a side tangent. Okay, now time to get work done. Well, chart review is done. I'm headed into the ICU. This patient was intubated for about 5 days, and they started him on a diet right after extubation, even though they consulted me, and they have him on a pediatric diet. So I have a lot of mixed feelings about this. I'm not too excited about this. It's a big barrier when you go in and you're consulted and a diet order is literally placed 1 minute before you're consulted, because if you do have to take the patient off a diet, then they get very angry. So I've been trying to communicate to hospital staff that if they are interested in placing a patient on a diet, but SLP is consulted, if you could wait to start that diet until SLP has seen them, especially if it's early in the morning, it's kind of an easier approach. I'm a little bit frustrated, but let's hope that this will work out, because I don't want to take them off a diet. I just don't quite understand the thought process of this, but it's learning from other thought processes, so let's go get this figured out. Well, guys, my patient definitely shouldn't have been on mildly thick liquids. Let me just tell you that. It makes me so angry. And I felt bad for the nurse. So I ended up recommending like sips of water and ice chips. Like I couldn't fully recommend a diet, but I do not recommend like putting patients on mildly thick or moderately thick liquids if on bedside, if they haven't had a recent instrumental swallow study, if they don't have a history of dysphagia. Like this patient just came, like was intubated for a couple days and like has no history of dysphagia, like is not old, like no reasons why she should have like long-term dysphagia. Like we're only talking concern is post-extubation dysphagia. And so the best practices for me is not to put her on a mildly thick liquid diet, because that's not reducing the risk of post-extubation dysphagia at all. And I've seen patients aspirate mildly thick liquids, so like from post-extubation dysphagia. So like the risk of silent aspiration is still there. And so I think it's super, super important to be like confident in your skill set when you're going in to see patients like that. And like that's a prime example. Like I had to educate the patient on what I was recommending and why I was recommending it, and then I had to educate nursing staff. And that is like a huge another part of our role, is because we are the specialists, and like you need to be confident in your specialty and what you know. And the nurse was super open to it and super great and like asked great questions. We had a wonderful conversation after the fact of why I don't recommend that, and why I recommend like if you're gonna place an SLP consult, wait until you start a diet, until the SLP comes. Like you can do ice chips, but like wait. And the nurse definitely expressed like concern and like confusion. She was like, I don't understand like why one SLP would do this and another SLP would do that. And I was like, that's valid, and I get that like reasoning with the nurse and saying like I get why that's confusing, and like I get why that's like hard if you're a nurse and you're like hearing one thing and then another SLP is telling you another thing. I was like, I don't really know what to do about that, other than like that's like big hospital management or like SLPs working together, and like getting on the same page about that. It's also so patient specific, like I don't know, but I'm less frustrated now, especially having that talk with the nurse. And so I think that it's like always a learning experience for me too, of like a reminder, like going in guns blazing isn't gonna help anything, that I need to take a step back and like hear the nurse out and like come very calm but confident, and like have this like ability to have an open conversation, to hear both sides and provide education and understand where the nurse is coming from and what confusion that arose. But we got it all figured out. Yeah. This is what I get to walk by on the way to my car. The biohazard dumpster. Oh yeah. Oh, just hospital things. I'm all done with my day. This was a very, very short vlog, but I really appreciate you guys coming along and seeing just a kind of a strange weekend. I will say that like that really never happens, what happened yesterday with having 0 consults. I think that like at my old hospital that would quite literally never ever happen because it's such a giant hospital. When we're talking smaller hospitals, especially this one, some of the floors are closed down right now, so the census is super, super low. So it just really fluctuates. I would not say that's a regular thing that ever happens, ever. That was like once in a blue moon type situation, but you guys got to see the other side of work, which was kind of interesting, I guess. I don't really know. But thank you so much for following along. I know I need to update you guys on what I'm doing with work and what the next coming plans are, but they're still up and coming and things are still fluctuating. So once all that's settled, then I'll give you guys a notice. But until then, thank you so much, and I'll see you next time.